Hello everyone, you are listening to krisdoesbeauty, also known in the pinup world as Bonnie the Lovely, and I had really great feedback and responses from my spooky scary Saturdays that I have wanted to go into doing these kind of Star Wars themed videos, and I'll eventually call it Star Wars Sunday, even though today is not Sunday, but hopefully we will be getting on track after this week. So the first movie that we will look into in this sequence, I like to go in order, and this will be leading up to the new Star Wars premiere and also going into the holidays. So leading up into it, I will be starting with this video. I'm going to do two movies at a time just because of the way the weeks are spanning out and timing. And I will be starting with, first I will talk about The Phantom Menace, and then I will get into Attack of the Clones. And yes, this is the prequels, and for anyone who's not a fan of the prequels, just click off. I don't need that negativity on here, because I am a huge prequel activist. So, anyway, directed and written, of course, by the man, George Lucas. The Phantom Menace came out May 19th, 1999 in the United States with a running time of 133 minutes. The budget was $15 million. Box office was $1.27 billion. Lucas began production for the prequels after he felt that CGI computer graphics advanced enough. Taking 32 years before the original, The Phantom Menace follows Jedi Knight Qui-Gon Jinn and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi, a very familiar name, as they protect Queen Amidala in hopes of securing a peaceful end to the interplanetary trade dispute, joined by a young slave boy, Anakin Skywalker, who is a young boy who has a very unusual, strong, natural power with the Force. They simultaneously get together and, while also doing this mission, kind of buckle into the Sith a little bit and have some little fights with them. And basically the whole rundown is you are first seeing Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and they do grab the Queen as she leaves her home planet of Naboo, and they're pretty much kind of running away from the Trade Federation, which is trying to negotiate a treaty in which for the Queen to sign, but it's not going to be the best for her and her people, really, as far as safety and things like that is concerned. And so she goes off with them, and they, in the midst of running, kind of, their ship breaks down basically on this planet that we're all familiar with, Tatooine. And that's where we meet the young slave boy Anakin, who eventually, after revealing that he has a very strong connection with the Force naturally, Qui-Gon has a very, father-esque kind of figure with him, or also, a Jedi Knight mentor with him, and sees him as a young Padawan, a young learner. He eventually negotiates a trade in which he can get the boy out of slavery and take him with him, but however he won't be able to take his mom, which will later show in some issues and inner turmoil that Anakin naturally has just with emotions and things like that after being, separated from his mother at such a young age. As I'm running fast on time here, since I'm doing two movies, I have to run really quick here, and basically by the end of it, one of the main plot points that happens is that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are facing Darth Maul, who is the apprentice to the Sith leader, and they have a duke out in Naboo, and one of the last fighting scenes, and Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon, in his last words to Obi-Wan, tells him to train the boy that they just had, even though the Jedi Council definitely did not want it that way. And so you go into, that sets up the next movie, which we are now getting into, which is Attack of the Clones. So, May the 16th, 2002, Attack of the Clones premieres in the US, and it's a running time of 142 minutes. And again, the budget was $115 million, and this one brought in a little bit less than the previous one. We are at $649.4 million. Taking place 7 years after Phantom Menace, the galaxy is on the brink of a civil war with planetary systems, threatening to leave the Republic. After surviving an assassination attempt, Senator Amidala Palpatine is placed under protection by Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker, a familiar duo that we saw in the first movie, which also worked out good for them because they were really, really good, close friends in the first movie, even though they did have an age difference of he was a 9-year-old boy and she was a 14-year-old queen, but you know, whatever. They still got along really well, and their relationship continues to grow in this movie. And while that is going on, Anakin's mentor, again, old friend Obi-Wan Kenobi, investigates the attempt on Senator Amidala's life. The three of them are definitely the plot of the movie, and as they go throughout their own adventures and kind of struggles, really, they see the onset of the galaxy's newest big threat, which is the Clone Wars. So basically a long story, seemingly short. 10 years after the first movie, you see the characters again. You have Padme Amidala, Senator Padme, flying into Coruscant to vote on a new motion to get an army alongside the Jedi, I believe. And while she's coming in on the landing platform, there is an attempt on her life then, which then has her in protection by the Jedi, and more importantly, Obi-Wan Kenobi and his young Padawan, Anakin. And they reunite, the trio of them, and then Anakin is put in place to be one-on-one with Senator Padme, send her back to Naboo and protect her while Obi-Wan Kenobi goes and kind of takes leads on who is trying to assassinate her. And the main plot point then, honestly, just goes through Obi-Wan's character. Anakin and Padme just kind of go off in La La Land and basically fall in love with one another. And meanwhile, while that's going on, Obi-Wan is actually finding out what's going on. He is sent to a planet eventually, even though it was first missing because someone like a Jedi or someone with availability has wiped from the memory source. He eventually goes to planet Camino, where you see there's a clone army being built under a name of an old Jedi, I can't remember, but basically he's been dead for several years, so someone, I think he did want to create the army, but basically Dooku sort of took over for him, and then basically by the end of it, he gets in trouble, he goes to another planet, he gets captured there by Dooku. Anakin and Padme have to go fly to save him, since they were on Tatooine trying to save his mother, even though that didn't really work out either. So there's a lot of action, and basically by the end of the movie, all you have is there's a clone army leading up into the Clone Wars, and then Anakin and Padme get married. So go ahead and let me know what you think about this movie review. I know it's going to be a little kind of hectic because I'm going to be jamming 2 movies into one from here on out, but let me know what you think, and I will see you on Sunday.